So we've obviously got some changes that are popping up in the NFL next season. Some of this stuff has been tabled until May. One thing we are going to get as far as a different looking NFL next year, and I'm still trying to figure out why this was even thought to do in the first place. Why did the NFL decide that overtime rules were going to be different in the regular season from the postseason? Like, whose idea?
Well, the initial proposal when they made changes was because it was about player safety. So they didn't want to prolong the game because they wanted to limit the amount of hits that players were taking and the wear and tear on their bodies. Now, what's interesting about it is we've made subtle adjustments where it's getting closer to what it is in the playoffs. I mean, does anyone want to see a tie in the regular season?
No.
Like, does anyone even want to see a team that gets into overtime and is playing for a tie instead of a loss because it may benefit them? Like, this is America. Like, weren't we built on winning and losing?
Yeah.
Were we built on ties? Like, last time I checked, that's never been the case ever in the history of this country. I find it incredibly un-American to have an overtime where we don't have a winner and a loser. Isn't that what this is all about?
Hell yes. That's what I'm talking about.
I mean, Lee, if you could have played some sort of patriotic music, that would have been fantastic there. I mean,
efforting.
Yeah.
Efforting. Why do overtime? Why do it?
Come on, Brady.
There you go.
Yeah.
You got to win.
I mean, am I wrong? Someone tell me I'm wrong and this country wasn't all about winning and losing. I mean, at what point in World War I or World War II did we say, we're good, let's just push for a tie? All right? At no point ever in the history of the Revolutionary War were we pushing for a tie in that one? No chance. There's a reason why things got kicked off with the Boston Tea Party.
Damn right.
This country was built on winning and losing. You did or you didn't. The haves, the have-nots. Like, let's make it fully like the overtime in the playoffs. We're going to have a winner and a loser. It doesn't matter how long it takes us to figure that out. That's what we want. That's what we want in this country.
Dang. Hey, you got my vote. You got my vote. And you know what? If it is tied at the end of overtime, bull in the ring, winner take all.
Riverside, mother lovers.
Let's do it all the way here. Let's make this happen. Yeah, I don't understand the logic behind it. The whole player the whole player safety thing is such a convenient excuse for why they implement certain things. Like, let's be honest, if it was really all about player safety, the game probably wouldn't have been invented. Okay, like guys were running around with no face masks on early on. Like
they really were.
Didn't they just like stab each other too when it first started?
Yeah, like come on.
There were some dirty things that were going on when the game first started. So we've come a long way.
It's been a minute.
There was a high school out here. God, I forget who it was, but they got busted because they were taking the buckles on the helmets and filing them into a point. So when you made a tackle or they lowered their helmet, you were basically shivving people. Them. Yeah, you were shivving people. Like, so it's
that material is hard too. So if it is coming off, it does have that it could cut skin.
I feel like we had a couple teams that used to do that back in high school.
That's kind of
because you'd have these cuts on your like forearms and whatnot where you brush up against it and you're like, how's this happening?
It's the good old days.
And you come to realize, okay. You find out in the offseason this is what they were doing.
It's crazy.
It's the good old days. That's how it was.
I never paid attention to anything like that. That's kind of crazy.
Any other rule changes we want to acknowledge, too, this offseason that have been solidified?
Yeah, so the other one is going to be, obviously we mentioned the overtime rule. The playoff seeding, that one they're still trying to sort through. That's another one that's going to be tabled as well also.
Tabled as in not this year or tabled as in?
Pick up the discussion in May.
Yeah.
Okay.
Same with the tush push. That one's going to be picked up. I don't... Like, Rich McKay comes out and he talks about the Lions' proposal on this one, and it's basically, we've kind of kicked around the idea of, we don't want to diminish division winning the division, so maybe we have it to where you only give the wild card team the home game in the playoffs if the team that won the division has a 500 record or below. And it's like, I know you want to protect and reward division winners. Isn't that what a playoff spot is? Like, you're automatically in the playoffs. After that, if your record is worse than the team that you're scheduled to play, you should not be hosting a game. I'm sorry to owners that want that home game money in the playoffs. Tough balls. Like, you had a worse record than the team that you were going against. You should not be hosting a playoff game. If like what we saw this past year when we had 3 teams hosting playoff games and they shouldn't have been.
Can we get a round of applause? I mean, this has been my take on this the whole time. We're not looking at the entire body of work throughout the course of the season. Spare me your arguments about the competition or the scheduling. I mean, that can vary depending on division, depending on year. Again, you go back and look at the Minnesota Vikings, what they were able to do last year, and it's like in 2 weeks' time, they go from potentially being the number 1 overall seed division winners to then having to go on the road and play in the first round of the playoffs after winning, 14 games? Whatever it was. Like, it kind of takes away from everything that you were able to earn just because you weren't able to beat a team that went, what did Detroit go, 15-2?
Yeah.
I mean, it's ridiculous when you think about how hard that is to do in the NFL to win that many games, especially as we continue to expand the regular season. I don't understand how you can't find the logic to it. You're being selfish for then trying to prioritize the division when really it should just be an automatic berth into the playoffs, and that should be reward enough for what you've done.
Yeah, I feel like it's direct. That's directed at me because I am that selfish one that thinks it is about the divisions. Like, when your division. Sorry.
By the way, I didn't know
your division.
LaVar, I didn't know George Mirasan grew his hair out.
I know it.
I know it, man.
That is very, very interesting, Very interesting. 7-footers.
You guys got problems, man. you guys.
7-footers in the house.
You guys got it.
Play some American music to that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that. All right. Listen up. We don't play for 4 foot and under.
Oh, my God.
We don't play for normal sizes, normal length. No, this is America, and we like it big. They say it's bigger in Texas for a reason. They say it's big. I don't know. I don't know what comes next. But I will say, tall, long, more. As Americans, we want more. Hell yeah. All right, that's good.
Well,
yes, we
can. Yes, we can.
You know what's great about the NFL, though, is that while we're having these tush-push, overtime rule, playoff seeding discussions, like some of this stuff, the NFL's like, you know what, this has generated a lot of conversation. Why don't we go ahead and start this whole thing back up in May?
Just let it go.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and create more storylines in May when we talk about this again.